For me, what's missing here is you're moving the foot back with the body, but you need that front foot for support because you have no body on that side of the foot. Everything's over here, right? And so to me, your solution is this. I basically would drop the body, potentially drop this back a little bit, okay? And then I would drop the body here, like really low. And then you're gonna basically probably rock back on this heel and get a really strong slack right here, right? This is gonna like push back here. Well, maybe not like that. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You're giving yourself slack because if you're already like maxed out and most of your weight is like your center line, right? Most of your weight's in the front, right? So when you drop your weight down and rock that heel back, now you can push off that heel and now you can come up into this next pose up here much easier because you have to break that action up. You have to somehow get off that front foot and you're forward, you know? To me, the only solution is either, you know, rock back and drop your weight and then push off so you're like bottom arc up, or you lean into it this way and you step this foot forward. And I think what you're doing is just fine, but you need that foot to support, you know. So then what I would attempt to do here is definitely get the foot out there framed sooner probably, because if you look right here, you've got a bent leg here, you got a 90-degree angle here, and then you come down here and this stays like this, and then here it stays like that. So you've got two frames in a row of the same kind of stomp down. So for me, it's like, hey, what if this pose here, for example, instead is contact pose? So where does he go down at? Right here? So yeah, so let's say this frame is boom. Okay. You know, if I could make it down to that, you know, he might be too high, which means maybe lower him, right? But my point is, like, I would have him reaching here because now you've got contact and then bam, right now this foot is flat and you've got all this like push down here. Now on top of that, when I'm in this pose here, I would try to be like this. Right? Just like sword back here. And then here as well, back here. So the sword's like here still. So I'm just like, I'm like up and I'm like coming down, right? Boom, right? And one of my favorite things to do is to actually have the body hit first and then the sword hits, and the sword down pushes me up actually. So I'm not coming down with the sword and letting the sword drag me down. You can do that, but I love to just like come down like right? You know, that's my favorite thing to do is opposites. My body hits first and I got that sword just like, it's coming down like a bat out of hell, right? And then when it hits, right, my whole body just recoils back against it, you know? You know what I mean?
So much sense. I was even looking at some of the reference and some other animators, how they did it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't quite figure it out, and what you just said makes complete sense. That, like, just a couple more poses and that would have very broken up the hit. Mm-hmm. I did try it a bit, but the only reason why I didn't go too far into it is that from what I saw, at least from my references, when I think of like katana, because that's what I believe the sword is, I think of like a very clean hit with not much recoil. Like it kind of is like a very subtle thing, but that is definitely useful for like heavier things and just other stuff in general.
Yeah. And I think Yeah, and I think you have to find a mix of that, right? Okay, how traditional do I want to stay versus, do I want to do that? Great, then figure that out, right? And then maintain that control, like bam, just control, right? Because even then, I still think with katana, I still think it's gonna be like a, right? It's gonna be like a, right? I still think there's like an element of reversal there, like opposing force, I could be wrong. I could probably watch a YouTube video and go, oh, my perception was this, and it's actually this. And then I might go, that's cool too. Now I've got a couple things I could do here, right? And so that's always really cool, because like, look at this pose right here. I almost see this pose as being the bottom. So really, like, how far can you crank that, first of all? And can we get this down here? And then this is cool. And then I think you might be, you're probably okay there. I was gonna say you're maybe a little bit forward, but I think you're all right. So here's my point though. I almost think like this pose here could be, again, here's her sword. It's not quite there yet, just about. So you're hitting bottom right there. And then when that sword hits, you just recoil a little bit,